So I probably think too much for my own good. And for whatever reason today, I was thinking, to sunken. I started with, okay, why do people stop throwing? And then I started to ask myself a better question. Why do people stop working out? Like, why do they stop training? Why do they get out of shape? Why do they give up on their goals? Why do they lose focus on their physical fitness in general? Uh, and I came up with obviously some high level reasons, which I'll get into in a second. But I thought about a lot of different stuff, and there's people that people get injuries, they get older and realize that it just isn't going to take more time. There's drugs. Some people like to party. They realize that they like to party, and some people just don't think that they should do it. Don't find it worth it anymore. And so on a very, very high level, as far as this goes, very, very specifically, there isn't a financial incentive for anybody to be able to throw a ball far, especially in America. Especially in America, there's no financial incentive. There's almost no financial incentive for you to be in shape, really and truly. Now, there's some races you can go win, or 5K or what have you, here and there, but it's kind of sad. It's sad that there's not money in you. I mean, even being a good runner, there's not a lot of money in that. There's not even being a good runner. A lifter, you can be Mr. Olympian or a bodybuilder, but that's so oversaturated. There's so many people on drugs and everything else, and there's not a lot of prize money in that, if we're being completely honest. So, number one reason is financial incentive, for sure. I can see why people they go focus on their jobs, and they get a job, and when they get off, they want to relax and they want to go play video games, and that's fine. Completely understandable. To each their own. To each their own. And yes, there's not. I mean, besides being a professional, there's not a lot of there. And it's sad. It's sad. There should be more reward for keeping your body in shape or staying in shape. But the reward, the physical health reward, is your health benefit down the road. That's your incentive to stay in a fit shape, or whatever is your health benefits down there. That's the only incentive that's there. There's not a big financial incentive that's there, and that's kind of an esoteric thing for people to think about or realize or whatever. It's easier to get on the couch and watch a football game. Let's call a spade a spade. Number two reason that was kind of asking myself why people give up and why people do what they or whatever, but your priorities change. I mean, people get a wife, get a kid. They, like I said, it was get a job or what have you. They're like, what? They're probably like, what the fuck am I gonna come out here and do this shit for? For no fucking motherfucking money. Yeah, that's a big one. Priorities is a big one. That's probably more or less the bigger one, along with all the other stuff that can get thrown in there. Because at the end of the day, there are lots of things that are important to you as you get older. I mean, if you have some kids, and kind of Kidway talked about this a little bit, is that it kind of he talked about at one point he wanted to be a dad instead of wanting to come out and throw, and that's kind of what happens. I mean, you want to do. Some people, they want to travel, they want to relax at some point or what have you, and I'm sure that at some point my priorities will change, but they haven't. For whatever reason, this has been a singular thing on my mind for a long period of time. So, it hasn't happened to me. So, I found that kind of going through my brain, because I kind of asked myself the question, what am I doing here or what have you? And hey, I don't. I kind of know, but I still have the ability to keep on, and everybody does, but then you have the mental brain space and everything else to keep on doing this. So, a curious question: why? I mean, because a lot of people do give up, and they don't even working out. Like people. I mean, you go to school, you go to classes or whatever. It's just it gets harder. It gets. You end up with more priorities as you get a little bit older. You end up with more financial responsibilities, and the two things work congruently together. So, can't really judge anybody, but I can see the thing that I see, even with people that I run into. Sometimes I'm just like, damn, you used to be in shape, dude. Like, maybe not the rippedest per or whatever, but you used to be in shape, and like now I'm like, I ain't judging you, but I it's happened to multiple people, a lot of people that I've ran into, but there's a few people that have managed to keep themselves in pretty good shape. I mean, it's a very very interesting concept. Some people do, some people it's a little bit more of a priority, some people don't. So it is what it is. So, anyways, took some hammer throws today, and the biggest thing I'm trying to kind of puzzled about is that this relaxation thing. I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to focus on the technique and do all that good shit. But by the same token, I'm getting kind of pissed off because sometimes I'm not going. I'm going slower with the intensity, and I still can't quite figure it out. In the weight room, right? If I'm doing a lighter weight, I'm going to do more reps. Correct? It's pretty fundamentally simple. And the intensity, therefore, will be lower. Now here, there's certain entry speed, and there's a certain speed that the ball has to move on the entry that at some point you're playing motherfucking catch up. You're playing catch up like mayonnaise. So I can't seem to figure that one out without. And I don't feel like I really, and this is probably the most frustrating part. I don't feel like I've gone full intensity on any amount of throws that I've taken. I don't feel like I've gone full intensity. Now, I do feel like at times I was going harder than I needed to, and that I was trying to push the envelope more than I should. So I was trying to really, really dial it back, and it's kind of, like I said, kind of frustrating. In the weight room, you cut the weight, you do more reps, right? You go up to your heavier sets and you do less reps. That's intensity, right? Or you do less sets, right? Out here, I have a hard time wrapping myself around what intensity is. I do feel my back. My back tells me, if you listeneth to thy backeth, if you listeneth to thy backeth, as far as this shit goes, you can fucking figure it out in about 2 motherfucking seconds. So, kind of frustrating. But ended up being not a bad sesh. Did a lot of body weight. Not fun. But it definitely gets easier over time. Gets a little bit easier over time. No weight, not a lot of weights. Got the barbell there, doing what I can. Need to incorporate some jumps. I saw this old guy, Gruder. I don't know how to say his name, but did a lot of plyometrics in his training. Found that very interesting. And there's another guy who kind of was foundational in doing the plyometrics for the performance of the athlete or what have you. That kind of founded a lot of those movements. So also found that very, very interesting. So we will see how we work that out. But that's just about all I got, guys. You should already know what the deal is. Run on your toes, keep your mouth closed, lock your doors, and save your throws. Most importantly, live to fight another day. I'm out of here.